Hi guys, it's Jay from Rochford, and as the title suggests, today we'll be teaching you to make your own whipped soaps. The recipe that we're using in this example is from our number 2 assessment range, so what we'll do is keep that our trade secret, and we'll put you an example recipe in the description on this video so that you can try along at home with your own recipe. In here we have our apricot kernel oil, our polysorbate 80 and our chosen fragrance, and this one is very cherry and smells very nice indeed. In here we have the colourant that we're going to be using. This is a water-soluble dye. This is the red granular, and all we've done is weighed out the granular, added in some boiling water, swirled it around and let it dissolve. Next up we have our Kaolin Clay. It's very nice on the skin. And in here we have the weighed out amount of Stephensons OPC, which they brand as foaming bath butter. We also have 2 empty plastic bowls, which will split our batter into this one and this one and create 2 different colours. Here we have a square of greaseproof paper, which will just assist us in getting our frosting into the bag. And then obviously we have our piping bag. You don't need a piping bag. You can sort of spoon it into nice pots and jars. This one is a Russian ball piping nozzle. They're a lot larger than some of the other products that you could pipe with. We also have our pots that we will be using, which have been cleaned and are ready for use. In addition to that, we just need to get our gloves on and we are good to go. So, firstly, what we will do, we'll start out with our OPC, which we have already pre-weighed, and all we're going to do is chop this into slightly smaller pieces. It's very cold in the warehouse where I am today, so it is a little bit tough. It will be absolutely fine. It may take a little bit more mixing, but all will become perfect. Just going to make it a little bit more manageable. As you can see, all I'm doing is chopping this up. It's easy as that. Next we have our electric whisk. It's just a very basic, cheap electric whisk. It does the job. We may skip some video because it may take quite a while. So we'll start off nice and slowly and just whip it up to a nicer consistency. So we'll be mixing this really well. It may only take 2 minutes or less. It depends on the temperature of the OPC base. Periodically we will stop, we'll scrape the bowl and get rid of any pieces of OPC which haven't been mixed in or incorporated, and then we just want to add that to the recipe and just continue to mix until it's nice and fluffy. Now that we've started to make it into smaller chunks, make it nice and smooth, all we're going to do is scrape the edge again, incorporate all of that. So all we're going to do is add a small amount of our liquid ingredients to start with and continue mixing it up. So we're just going to keep mixing this thoroughly. We'll keep stopping, adding a small amount of liquid at a time, and then carry on mixing it in. We nearly have all of the wet ingredients in there. We have to add it nice and slowly so it doesn't cause a problem with the base. After adding our remaining oils, we're just going to mix this thoroughly, and then we're ready to move on to the next step. That's all mixed in beautifully, so what we're going to do is to stop mixing, add in our Kaolin Clay for them skin loving properties, and start off mixing with a slow setting at first, just to stop the powder escaping everywhere and covering everything, and work our way up to a faster speed. I'm very happy with this texture. It's the sort of consistency that I want it to be, and it's ready to start adding some colour. The next step for us is to split our batter into however many colours we want. So we'll be using two colours. We're going to use a white and we're going to use a red. So we need the two bowls. If you was doing three colours, you would need 3 bowls, or if you wanted to keep one uniform colour throughout the product, you could just keep it in the original mixing bowl and add your colour. To save washing up, you can use the original bowl plus one other bowl. For some reason we didn't do that, and we decided to make ourselves a little bit more washing up. Just going to share these. So with this bowl, I'm going to keep this one white, so I'm going to put this well out of the way so that it doesn't get contaminated with the red. Then, next, this is the one that I'm going to add red to. Red is a very difficult colour to achieve, especially in a fluff, because the base is very white, and obviously red and white make pink. So we'll see how we go. We might end up with a nice pink coloured cherry. Start by adding a small amount and just mixing nice and slowly to begin. Now, watching this back, I'm not sure whether it's the orange apron or the lighting that makes this red look more of an orange. At this moment in time, it actually looked like a pale, like a salmon pink kind of colour. I am surprised that it did take on the red as well as it did. By the end of the video, you'll see we achieved a much better red, and it is a deeper red than I expected us to be able to get as well. Altogether it was 2 grams of red granular a total, so because we've split the batch size we used 1 kilo of OPC, so it was about 2 grams of red granular in 500 grams of OPC, plus the fragrance, the wet ingredients as well. Also, different fragrances can have an effect on the colour and the consistency of your foaming bath butter or your shower whip. If you look now when we're holding up to the camera, you can really appreciate the vibrant, bright red that we've managed to achieve using the red granular water-soluble dye. Now comes the fun part. Let me just tidy up some space and I'll be back. All I've done is tidy up a little bit and put my pots to hand. Now if you look at these two, this one has had a lot less mixing than this, so it's more aerated, it's fluffed up a lot more. So what I'm going to do, this one's obviously a lot denser than this one. It's full of, the red is full of air, the white, it has been mixed. But what we're going to do is mix this one a little bit more, and that will make sure that your mixture goes a little bit further in your pot. Much better. There are a couple of reasons why I like to use greaseproof paper for this part. I like to use it because I use it as a spoon rest so I don't have mess to clean up off the side. It also helps to reduce the waste because it captures everything, all of the OPC that you could use as product. And I like this method because you can get a better control of the product and you can add it to the piping bag in a lot easier way. So if you are a baker or you do a lot of frosting and you're quite comfortable and confident at filling the icing bag without making too much mess, then that's fine. You can put it in the piping bag however you like. This is just a tip that a friend taught me, and it's just something that I really like to do. Don't worry too much about the sort of contamination between the white and the red at this point in time. As long as they're not mixed together too thoroughly, it doesn't matter, because they do end up mixed together as they come out of the nozzle at the same time. So if you see here in the video I turn it round, that was actually a mistake looking back. The reason I did that was because the mixture it would be quite high at the top of the bag, whereas I wanted it nice and low. But if you look where it's going to go into the bag first, so where it's going to come out of the nozzle first, the portion of red is a lot larger than the portion of white. It doesn't matter because it all needs using up anyway, but it just means that for the first couple of pots that I piped out, it was pretty much all red that came out. If I'd have made them two colours equal in size and proportion at the same sort of starting point, then they would have come out a lot sort of more uniformly. They would have come out a lot closer together in time. That's just a part of a handmade product. Everyone is going to be different, and it gave a lovely effect either way. I'm just now fitting it into the bag in a way that feels comfortable to me. Some people would actually scrape the greaseproof paper as they're pulling it out and totally remove it. That's not something that I would be very confident at doing, and I think that I'd be destined to make quite a lot of mess. So I tend to keep the greaseproof paper rolled up in there. I squeeze out the air that surrounds the greaseproof paper, so between the paper and the bag, and then I twist the top up and get it in a nice comfortable position, because you are squeezing the bag for quite a while, so it needs to be something that's quite comfortable to hold for you. And with these nozzles, it's a very different process. It's just a squeeze and a lift. So like I said, that one is going to come out all red. Maybe a few may come out all red to start with. We did have more red, so I'm not stressing so much. Where is my white mixture? It should be in there somewhere. Starting to come through, but it is hiding. You can of course use a normal piping nozzle, but you would need to use one that's quite large. Because it's such a thick product, it can take a lot of sort of squeezing to get it through. A normal sort of cake decorating icing nozzle would probably be too narrow. There are different techniques that you use. This one is just rocking it back and forth a little bit and just trying to get the swirly pattern on the side a little bit different, but it's just about having fun with it and finding what you like. If you underfill a pot, like I have this one, all you do is pop the nozzle back in and give it a little top up. To avoid this happening, the best thing to do is to put your empty pots on a scale, one at a time, and fill them according to weight. You can then make sure you've got a nice uniform weight across all of them. If you see the one that I've just done, then you'll see that it's slightly higher than the others and that the lid wouldn't be able to go on. All you do is tap it on the counter to knock down some of that product until it's just below the thread line on the pot. You can then put the screw cap on with no problems at all. And I'll demonstrate that for you now. So all you do is pick up a pot, give it a little tap on the counter to make it go down, and then you can tidy up the top and just play about with it and make it look how you like. I'm just going to demonstrate that one more time for you. So just tapping it down and making it a nicer finish on the top. You can finish them however you like. You can even spoon them into pots if you wanted to, but a nice peak like this takes a lovely photo. And then when you're finished with your photo, all you do is give it a few taps on the counter again, and then you're able to put the lid on without a problem. And there we have it. It's as simple as that. Everything that we've used can be found in the shop. Thanks for watching.